hand over the mic to Mrs. Veena Singh to continue with the students for the portfolio making.
Hello. Hello. Hi, am I audible now? I think I have to hold it. Anyways, I have to use my hands for. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Audible? It's enough for us to go. Can we increase its intensity? We have all grade 12 students here, right? Do you have a concept clarity why we are here, the career talk, or career counselor, or even why career? Hands up if you are aware, hands down if you want to know that why all this is happening. Anyway, any hand we can see that why all this is happening? No very. Alright. Do you have discussions at home about career? Hands up. Hands down. Thank you. Here is an irony. Your parents, or the family, or the friends who you talk to, they are probably the ones who studied in 1980s or 90s by the teachers who studied in 1950s and 60s, and you are the ones who are born in 2005, 4, 6, and you are going to work in 2025 to 30. You can see the transition. Almost 75 years of art we are looking at. Maybe? So what your parents say, they say the best, definitely. But there is an element, there is something which is missing when they counsel you. That is why the career counselors. Now, the parents want your safety, security, happiness. That's all. That comes to whatever. They make the best decision, they invest financially, psychologically, mentally, everywhere. They are ready to do anything for you, provided they see a scope there. Maybe the discussions end over there. You would have heard at home. Sometimes the parents say, okay, do whatever you want to do, find out what you want to do, and we'll be there to help you. Is there any parent who has said this to you? Yes. But then the point comes, what should I do? I don't have a parent. How can you feel I don't know what to do? Okay? And some the ones who say, I'm very sure what I want to do. Okay? Out of these people, I want to hand to the ones who are very sure in this only. Okay? How many of you say engineering? Alright. We will take another way. How many of you are science students here? Big number. Commerce. Humanities. Alright. It used to happen years back. Humanities used to be somewhere seen. Science used to dominate. Did you know? Maybe your parents would have heard about the books course right now also. Science is something which is taken by the students who are very intelligent. How can you believe in it? It is also dependent on the psychology that when you get good marks in 10th, take science. Happens? Yes or no? It used to happen so many years back. It's happening today also. But there are so many things that have changed. We never had mobile phones. We used to have landline, fixed to a place. Even the neighbors used to come and make the phones over there. Mobile phones, everybody having a phone, everybody having a naked at home. Why the same concept from 30, 40 years back is existing today? Because of those 35 years mark, we are not having awareness. So the career counselors, the career talk, the point career fair, this all is happening to spread awareness. Now, because of all this globalization where you pick up your phone, you connect to anybody, anywhere in the world, your WhatsApp calls, your Gmails, your Wi-Fi helps you connect anywhere, Bluetooth, anything which is people are using or digitized people know the technology much better than we people because we did not study that and you are born in that era. Agree? All of you are from one common area that is army school, but in that also there are further divisions, there are further subject divisions. But any group which is being taught by one teacher, maybe this is being taught by one teacher and teacher is coming and teaching you and writing exams are happening. Do you get the same marks? Yes or no? We don't get the same marks. We don't get the same result. The school never gets the same outcome in spite of giving the same input. Why? There is a difference, right? Can I come down? Because it's not that big that I need not be able to see. There are differences. Like if you talk about the green color in the nature, green has multiple shades. Right? Green is also not one. So you people, in spite of being from the army students, different cultures, or maybe a science section, we taught by the same teacher, same subject, you don't get the same result because you are different. Two groups here, if we divide into gender, male and female, all the girls on one side, all the boys on one side, but that is one categorization. You all are not going to get the same result. Your life is not going to be the same. You are physiologically same, obviously the genetic difference is there. Mentally, you all are different. Your interests are different. When we will learn to differentiate the career from making money, there will be a transformation. Everybody tell me why actually do we have careers? Why do we need a it can be released? Yes. Alright. How many of you agree that money is the only reason for a career? Money is needed. Money is the only reason for career. Fine. Now listen to me. And I'll take you through the journey of your life. How many of you remember when you were 1 year old? Do you remember? The age of 1 to 5 years, you would have vague memories or something in your mind, and you can write it on a piece of paper and do it. But you get those 365 into 5, you get those, but you don't remember. Same thing 5 to 10, 10 to 15. You remember 10 to 15 closely because you just get it to your mind. Now 15 to 20 is your phase. Going on. Whatever choices you made 0 to 5, they were in your control or no control. You don't even remember, they were not in your control. But you did something, or the surroundings of yours, the parents of yours, like your parents chose to be in harmony, that impacted you subconscious. Agree? That was not in your control, but it affected you. You are an outcome of the surroundings you were brought up in. Yes? Which was not in your control. So, whatever we decide and whatever is happening around us is making and shaping us subconsciously. For example, when we drive anything, a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, when we are learning, we are making an effort. The person who's teaching us tells us this is the accelerator, this is the brake, this is the clutch, and focus on this. And we do so many errors when learning. We either clutch, we press accelerator, something happens, it takes time to learn. Okay, and to exercise it. Once we have learned, it goes into our subconscious, thinking that we have call, control, music, conversation, and the driving is gone into our subconscious. Right? So the child is for the people who believe money is the one reason for career, they have something in their subconscious that is there, which is making them decide this. Alright? So this 15 to 20 years of your age, if you are focusing on money to be the only reason for your career, I'll take you fast forward. You will look at what career gives us money. You will get money, maybe by 25 you would be ABC. 25 to 30, you're again into it. Money, you are accumulating so much, something. But how much exactly do you need every day to live? Live a decent life. You will require a good house. You can't keep on changing your house every day, right? You buy one house, two houses, three houses. You live in one house. You won't keep on changing. How much money you need? Even if there is a table laid with food, you cannot eat everything. Your body will not let you eat. There is a limit on that, right? So what are our basic needs? Clothing. Boots can be there in your bungalows which are full of clothes, but you will be limited. You cannot wear multiple clothes on yourself. Whether has its own demands. Idea is we can keep on discussing. There's a limit to what you will use, and the rest is all going to be given to your sense of security. You have it. You will have the money so that you will fall sick and you can get your treatment. Why not take care of your health so that you don't fall sick? It's a thought process how you take it. Okay. A story which I read, which is real life story of Golconda, like everybody would have heard about it. Very short and crisp and telling. Somebody asked him, what happened to the four pillars of your happiness? He said, it's strange, but initially I used to believe that I have to have this in my accounts or have this with me and I'll be happy. He said, I got it, but I wasn't. Then he said, I wanted to accumulate something big. He did it. Fine. Those are the happiness element in it. I was fine, I'm getting it. It's okay. But it wasn't something which is joyful. Now, third, again, he wanted to accumulate materialism, whatever is possible. Endless number of things, fine. He got it. But still, there was somebody told him to go to a place and there is a requirement of donating the wheelchairs. But you will not give the money, you will go there yourself and contribute. So he goes there, donated things, and he looks at the joy those people get when they sit on their chair. They are not able to walk, they are sitting on their wheelchair. Right? And there is a different kind of feel for him to see that I could make somebody happy that way. And then the person out of those people who are using the wheelchairs comes to him and says, let me have a look at your face, because when we meet in heaven, I want to say thank you again. Idea is giving back. You people belong to army, like pride of the nation. You people are belonging to that category where we give the security, safety to millions, right? Happiness comes over there. Why so much of respect is given to army, or you benefit from the contribution of your parents because you give life, which everybody cannot give. So when you're talking about money, very stupid and very strange and very silly example is there are beggars on the road who are earning lakhs. Beggars earning lakhs, but they will still be seen as beggar because they feel okay, I have money and I still have to earn, and that's my profession. My money should come. Money is there in the account, and they send a demand draft or make those e-transactions to their families who are living in the villages. This money is there. But aren't they living the way it should be? No, they are just asking for give, they are not giving anything back. Point is, there is something which is cut out for you, an interest, talent, spark. Like everybody cannot be a doctor. We cannot be a doctor in spite of you all being taught biology. You all are given a chance to crack NEET. Even if you become doctors, you all cannot be the successful doctors of the nation. Because there is something in you. How many of you can cook food? Okay. How many of you have not even ever gone to a kitchen where you don't know how to boil water? Alright. Now, somebody who says, I want to become a chef, and I know I have read so many books. I have seen so much on YouTube, but I have not ever gone to the kitchen. Can the person really work in a profession? No. Now, you have something in yourself which you need to respect, which you need to connect. Your parents can connect. There is something which is there inherent in you. Nowadays, we are studying architecture to make these buildings. 500 years back, 1000 years back, did we have that structured study in courses of 3 to 4 years? The buildings of that time exist now also and they are much better and durable than the people who are living. Right? The reason I am talking all this is the one thing which is lacking in us is self-awareness. Money is needed, definitely needed, but there is no end point to money. And the end point has to be devised by you. Because if you think money will give happiness, that can give you 30 years of age, or 40 years of age, or 50 years of age. Money cannot buy your relationships. You have to be good to the people. You have to be giving something emotionally, psychologically to the people in order to build their love or friendship. Is there any friend of yours here in this call? Who is your friend because of money? You have given somebody money that okay will be my friend? No. Fine. Same way, you cannot buy health. You cannot, your parents are the only set of relationship that is going to be with you because they are selfless relationships. In the outer world, the people are going to be talking to you in context of profession, a context. You will have multiple failures in identifying the people because you think they are on your side, they'll find their way out and you will be left alone. So you have ample amount of people in your life who will be in reality your trustable ones. So in short, it is you and your close ones that are going to live your life, and how much money you need is your discretion. Fine. Now, looking at the school scenario, we have been having all that sciences group and commerce group and humanities group, but there has been a vast development in the universities if we look into. The regular way of going to university that you score good marks in your 9th, 10th and university is open to you is no more existent. Your 9th and 10th, 11th and 12th is important, but it is not going to take you alone somewhere in any university because that is showing your academic strength. Now, what does a university need? There are 4 ways to enter in a university. One is maintaining your consistency in your academics, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maintain. Only a child who has been doing altogether great needs to stay very consistent. All what you do shows your personality. Right? Now, universities look at academics, one thing. Universities look at your entrance tests sometimes, like your MBA class or engineering class grades, but there are certain national level entrance tests. There are certain university-based entrance tests. Right? Now, universities have got multiple programs based on your interest area. There's a thing called psychometric assessment. How many of you have heard of it? How many of you have got it conducted on you or have done it on you? All right. Good to know that. Can you tell me what was it and how was the result? Were you convinced with it?
Yes, it was accurate. It told me about my skills and what my interest would be, and it gave me a better understanding of what career I should take and what path I should opt for. That would give me a better understanding. So it was helpful.
As I said, an element is self-awareness. Like in the morning when you get ready or when we brush our teeth or when we make our hair, we look into the mirror. We know our face, we know what are we wearing, still we look into the face. The psychometric assessment is, I know myself, but I want to reassurance and clarity through a scientific input. Alright? There are hundreds of psychometric assessments, but all are not that dependable, so you need to be specific in choosing. These things help you to know EQ, your emotional quotient. They help you to know your IQ. They help you to know your interest areas. They help you to know your aptitude, and they help you to know your personality. These are the kind of things you all prefer in. That is why when we are following the rat race, so many state boards in India, so many CBSE schools in India, so many ICSE schools in India, so many IGCSE and IB schools in India. Everybody writing grade 10 exam, everybody writing grade 12 exam. Lakhs of students, thousands of seats for which the rat race is existing. That doesn't mean that there is nothing more on the plate in the universities here. And it's not always the cost factor. As I was telling you, academics, your entrance test, there is something called standardized testing. SAT, right? SAT tests your mathematics and English ability. That helps you to understand your aptitude. Then, the English proficiency is checked by your IELTS or TOEFL, whenever it is required if you think of going out. Now, the third thing and very important thing, and I think the next session is based on that, is profiling. What is profiling? Profile is all what I do beyond my academics. I met a boy who was in 3 stars sports captain. What the stars? This is your profile. Because somebody who's having a sports ability also has certain character traits. Somebody who goes in the kitchen, spends time or helps the family, that is contribution. Who actually can exist in life without having life skills? You all each to learn the art of cooking, and that skill is your profile. If you're able to draw good, if you're able to make good technological apps, if you're able to be on the field and control the event, anything and everything you can think of is your profile. 200 of you or 500 of you, whatever is the number, whichever is the crowd, you all have something to do. The point is identification. If you will have the conversations like that, if you will communicate on that aspect, you will discover and you will appreciate your talent which is there in you. Somebody is able to crack jokes. Who would have heard of that stand-up comedy is a career? The food analyst, food taster, right? That doesn't mean you will get up and you will just go and become a professional in that. That again takes knowledge and study. Academics is applicable everywhere. In contrast to school, universities have lot to do. Lot. When you think of the word design, the only thing comes in mind is somebody should be good in drawing. No. Every industry, you look into this wall, whether it is fan on the top, carpet down, chair you are sitting on, the photo frame at the back, or the door, or the money On the clothes we wear, everywhere there is design. So it is not the person who can draw, because who draws nowadays? It is a creative mind. How will I understand that I am creative? It is something in you. That's where again the psychometric starts. The reason the university there is happening for you people is to have awareness. Awareness, what is offered? Like when you go or at home or at your school, if you go for a combined lunch or whatever, you open and see what is available before putting it into your plate. You do it, and sometimes you find that I don't want to eat, why you eat this? How can you decide a career without looking at what is being offered? You don't know what is laid on the table. And you are already knowing that, okay, I'll just go and have this, I don't want to see anything else. Is it right? Excuse me. Now, awareness is the door. Awareness is the door from which change enters. Whatever you are carrying today, or whatever you came here for, or with whatever mind you came here with, if you don't bring even some change which is in points, I'm not saying 100%. Once 100% will come, with 100% commitment to bring change. Right? I am a career counselor. I came into this profession 5 years back. Earlier, I was an English teacher for a long time, and I cannot ever forget the connection which is so beautifully linked that my brother was a mathematician. He did his MSc in maths, and he was so good in that. He thought, okay, I got good marks in tenth, definitely sciences is for me. I was even asked, I didn't know what is stream, what actually is picking up the subject. We have been going on 1 to 3 5 7 8 9 automatically years to give us books and we go study. So we were not having any choice. But I did so bad in those 2 years and everything failed. I really kind of struggled, I was facing. Science was not for me. But yeah, out of those 5 subjects, English was wonderful. I was getting very good marks in English, rest was my struggle. 2 years I literally struggled and I don't know how CBSE costs. I don't know. But after that, I was very sure when I entered in college that political science was my subject, sociology was my subject, English and double English with English honors. I knew that English was something I was fascinated with. Clear thing. Why did I graduation? I knew I am going to do my master's in English. Very sure. When I did my master's as a gap, I knew that I am going to do master's of education after being done with it. Lately, I did my master's in counseling. Now, how did I get to know about clarity? There is a thing called study for parents. You people have no choice. You were sent to the school when you were small, you were not asked. Jana has to. Then, now you know your parents' discussion, you know that safety. Graduation, which you are going to choose, is also going to be a degree for the safety of your parents. Because they are contributing in your life and they want the right decision. So, nature of Hyderabad, nature of engineering concept generalizes through IIT, many of you are going to write IIT. So, there is a 100% contribution and expectation of parents in here. Literally for parents. If you enter into that also, you reach IIT also, parents are happy. You are happy or not, that doesn't matter. You have reached there. That is the intellectual contribution or credit that took you over there. You did hard work. Now, there are many students in 10th and 12th who can study everything and they get good marks, but it's not a career in everything. You have to keep on shortlisting your choices as you go. The first thing you should do, your bachelor's, is for your parents, most of the time. Second thing you should do is for your career. You know that you have entered here and you have to earn good, so this career needs expertise. So you make your own career. After that, you start realizing, okay, when it's done, I'm going to work, but am I really excited for the day, every day, this is my work? It's very, very difficult. Think of the day that you have enough money, but you are getting ready and sitting on a seat or walking around in the field every month or every day, the money is there. But there is no happiness factor. Like the food is there on the table, but the food is not of your choice. And who is responsible for it at that point of time? Have you heard of a word called material crisis? There are people who change their careers in 30s, 40s, 50s also because of the same reason. Why? It's not that they don't have money, they're earning. They're not earning. Now they can't go back into school, change the stream. But either they get a work experience or they do something which some can love failures and they are able to do it, or they are risk takers that they take the risk and make it happen. And when you get an age of, God bless everybody with their own long life, 80 years. Think of you people in that age, when you will look back at your life, what will be your story? Mind balance or live each moment? But anyhow, we are not going to take the money along with us. We are not going to have everything what we accomplish or gather that will go with us. We have to live a life which is full of happy moments, basic needs, traveling around the world, everything what money can buy, but everything money cannot buy. So all the things which money cannot also buy, have to be taken care of. Right? Now, awareness, meeting with universities, getting to understand what are the courses we offer and how do I connect with the subject I'm interested in. Somebody is in biology, okay, he doesn't have okay, I'm interested in biology, so much is good in biology. This is there, you need to realize. Take your notepad and make notes. And think what else can you do with it. I don't take I'm talking because I'm not in the habit of taking lectures. I'm in my office, I do one-on-one counseling, I need to just do I have a record of everybody in my school who's doing well. And it doesn't happen in one session. I'm meeting you one day, it's not going to make much difference. It is just for the reason that you need to do much more. And I spent almost 2 years with the students. Grade 11 is all awareness and exposure. Get to know more. Get to know more is grade 11. If you know something, maybe you can but keep on having it. But always have a plan ABC. When I was telling about academics, standardized testing, extracurricular activities, all what you do is your profiling. Fourth is your essays or your write-ups or your expression of yours. Now, if I ask somebody without the stars, introduce yourself.
Class, I'm student of class 12 on the student.
All of you are 16, 17 years of age. You should have 16, 17 lines to introduce yourself minimum. Minimum. If I don't have, it means I'm not doing anything in my life. I knew that you are in grade 12. I know about it. You told me early, I still have not told you early. But that's not what distinguishes me. What is me? If you were told that this is me, like the sports captain, that has not come all of a sudden. You didn't give you the chance because of that. There is years of input into it. All those people who are having the ranks zero stars here, they have invested time into it. Right? How you are utilizing your 24 hours. I repeat, how you are utilizing your 24 hours is going to determine how your future is going. Are you taking care of today? Your future is automatically taken care of. So that is the point. What are you doing in the school or in the age of 17, 18 years that has got a major impression on what you will be 5 years after or 10 years after? And it's not today, it is every day when we are alive. What I'm doing today is having a direct connection with what I will do next 5 years. It will be one step ahead. Like if you like a 50-story building, you might just go from 1 to 50. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even the lift takes it that way. So why are you taking those steps? Is the self-reflection. What you are doing, like the one who says, I'm interested in sports, there are careers related to sports. There are careers related to art. Art is just not sitting and drawing. There is art, therapy, biology combined with art. Right? Data analysts, all these children or all these people who wear those kind of watches and they tell you, okay, do the 5 minutes of workout or your heart rate is this or this. That is what a major data fed into it. There are people who are working at data research centers, right? There's blockchain developer. There are multiple types of engineering cropping out. Like doctor, initially used to be a practitioner. Now, talk about the body part and you have specialists. Even in your dental, you have multiple specializations. You would not be knowing what career you want to choose, but you would be very sure. You would be very sure what you don't want to be. How many of you do not want to be a doctor? See, how many of you know if you don't want to be? How many of you do not want to be engineers? Do not. Now you people are teachers. Many of you said you are doing engineering, now you say you don't want to be engineers. In the beginning you said writing engineering concept. Okay, then how many of you are real sportsmen? And you think being in the field is something you would love to spend your life with. The motivation, self-motivation matters. Alright. So just make sure to think of anything. Anything means literally anything. The reason I am happy doing career counseling is just not because it gives money. It does give money, but I love the informal connect with the students. I cannot communicate if I don't enjoy communication. Right? If I have not lived those moments with the children where I see the anxiety of the parents who are connected with you and want your safety, and this is the age where you need right channelization. It's not 100% surety that your profession is going to be what you choose today. I repeat, whatever you choose at 18 years of age is not a surety you are going to live the same at 28. But are you making the right decision at 18 is the point. Based on all your awareness. And there is the effort to have awareness. We are having this day set up for awareness. Everything what we talk is going to have one commonality that you all need to know more about what choice you are making and are you contented with the choices you are making, and there is just not one road to happiness. There is not one road to happiness. There are multiple engineers, there are multiple people in multiple domains who have shifted a career because they did for graduation, but they realized during that time that was not made for them, but they were not made for. By realizing that in nature, they have not only taken away the seat of somebody who was really made for that, but also wasted their precious time doing something which they did not like. So all the efforts which you will put in getting to know yourself, because for yourself it is you only who has to do, nobody else can do. The people who know, or the teachers who know, or the elders who know, or the Google that knows, you have to invest time. Grade 12, this is the time when the universities open applications for you. October already has begun. There are different rounds of universities application, round 1, round 2, round 3. You should have a plan A, B, C. Whatever is on your first mind, keep it that way. But if it doesn't work, what? If you don't sad reality, if you don't want to spoil our life because you just made the wrong decision, should we? We all make wrong choices. There are so many tests where you don't score good, but that doesn't mean you don't give the next test. When you start learning food, cooking food, sorting you score the food, it's okay. That doesn't mean I'm not trying. In case you have made wrong choice of street selection, it's okay. It's okay for any error that you did. But now, from now on, can I make a better choice for myself? Can I look at what universities are offering? You know what subjects you like. Subjects are somehow connected to what you pick up. There are 5 types of careers. One, which will open with sciences. Second, which will open with commerce. Third, humanities. Fourth is vocational careers, which are skill-based. Fifth are neutral careers, which do not mind whichever stream you come from. Okay? And there are 5 P's to be taken care of when you look for a university plan. First is program, what you want to study. Second is the place where you want to study. Third is for sure the price. You will look at how much it is costing. And fourth is prestige of the university where you are studying. The fifth can be personal. Personal or people-based, which is if I'm a sporty person, I look for that is it going to provide me a field to play here because I've been doing it all my years in school. Do I have that requirement to supply to? So we have to look at all these factors. This is research. It's not anybody who takes me. Like people who are going to study US. 5,000 universities, not even 500 universities are the best ones from where you will have a good prestige. So going to US or Canada is not an accomplishment. Going to which university makes the sense? Going to which program makes the sense? I can study from a good institute for my graduation and go for masters in a prestigious institution, but I'm doing the course of my own choice. That matters. I'm getting the work experience of my choice. That matters. So investing time in yourself is the key. Key to success, key to happiness, key to money, key to everything. And you used to hear the sky's the limit, but nowadays, looking at the awareness which is available, but you have to get up and see, I will conclude by saying that the sky is no longer the limit. Thank you. Anybody have any question? Please.
Ma'am, you have told us that everyone had everything but the relationships and friendships we form on during the college days. And like you said, you the prestige institutions you join. That's it. As you said that everyone had everything. And when you include friendships and relationships with everything around you. And all that comes from when you as a successful life. And it's not just money or money. Most of us are driven by career, but most of it involves money. So I don't feel that money can't buy everything, but also at the same time, it's like money is necessary for all of us, and we all have a luxurious life.
You would be happy sitting in a car crying, and that is the costliest of car, but you are sitting there and crying. But the car is very luxurious. Will you be happy? One car which is expensive, but you are sitting inside and crying. Will that be okay? You will not get relationships. Seriously, can you stand once? Now, all of you, give a minute to it. There is nothing in life that will come without investing time and energy. You will get money when you will invest time and energy. You will get relationship when you will invest time and energy. Nobody is going to be your friend if you are not devoting time or whenever he needed you, you are not there. Then he is crying, he doesn't give you money, he needs your shoulder. Right? So I'm just taking two examples. Relationships require those moments when somebody needed you. And if you were busy in making money, you were not there for the person, he will not count you in because you were not there. So, if there is not a balance and the things are going out of your control, but money is there, you need to have a check. I didn't say money is not needed, that's needed, but we do meet people at various stages of our life where we make new friends. It's not the friends who are going to be in school are going to be with you. The people who are in college are going to be with you. The first profession are going to be with you. People in life will keep on changing. It is just like a flight will go, people who are sitting with you will be with you from Hyderabad to Delhi. Then you are gone. So nobody than you yourself and your close ones are going to be with you. Rest all will change. Wait, this question is not over yet. Yes.
And the thing is that all this has to come with a balance in life. And I have to this is the system. If I'm riding a bike, I'm riding a bus. So
that is perception. That is perception because the reason you are studying in a good school, the reason your parents are paying your school fee, the reason they are happy to send you to the colleges, definitely they don't want you to sit in a bus. They want you to have a car of yours, but is it like you are just looking for car, or you are looking for balance? Balance is the thing. Thank you. Can we have a huge round of applause for Veena ma'am? Just another minute or two before we get Ms. Kala on stage to you to listen to what she has to say. And to give you a little roundup of what Veena ma'am was presenting, she's a counselor at the Hyderabad Public School, and she closely working with students in her school as well as outside. When it comes to choosing careers, when it comes to actually taking the right decision for your career path or the job that you want to do in your future. So, it is also a run-up to the career fair that we are going to be hosting on the 19th of October at your school. Like she said, quite beautifully brought out that the table has been laid for you, but you do not know what's on that table and you start confusing and you just take your favorite. Please. Be away from your favorites and also try and take what is not your favorite. Eating a karela or a brinjal or a not so good well-made cabbage can also be a beautiful option in life rather than just eating your favorite rather than okay? So take that career in your hands. Take that decision in your hands. Get your parents to be aware because sometimes it does happen in the army because we need a grandkid in the army, that like they say. My parents were not aware of what I had to do, and so was I because we got posted to stations which never had that kind of exposure. They did not have that exposure for education or maybe careers. So let's not lose out when we have people connecting with us, presenting before us, and helping us in deciding what we have to do in our future. So I request each of you to please make the most of it. I think Kala is ready to go, and I'm going to hand over to Kala. Give me 2 minutes. We will be actually welcoming Mrs. Gandwal before we put Ms. Kala on the stage. All right? A huge round of applause for Ms. Veena Singh. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Prina, for the wonderful orientation and awareness on career choices and development. I call upon Rhythm, CC Captain, Army Public School, Bolaram, and Anushka Punia, the head girl from APS Bolaram, and Niranjana Menon, CC Captain, APS Articular, to share their experience about the development of realistic goals that has been conducted, a wonderful session that has been conducted by Mrs. Veena.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Veer Tiwin. I'm from here for I'd like to thank Matt for providing such an eye-opening session. Before attending the session, I was very confused. I was not very clear about attending the session. Since in my mind, I had already decided what I want, what I'm in love with, the career. And so I'm not sure how it would be, but there were lots of things that I did in this. I have terrible memory and note-taking skills, so if I miss anything, my apologies. One started with very anti-logical approach. It was that most of the domestic career counseling we get, parents and other guidance figures, are it's good advice. Most of the advice is daily. Due to their own life experiences. Everyone's advice, everyone's mindset is shaped by their own life experiences. But the truth of the matter is that their life experiences will hardly will match up. So let's say they will provide us with a hypothetical or a situation that they understand could be good for us. That might have worked out at that time, but it might not work out today. So we need age appropriate, decade appropriate career counseling. Secondly, ma'am brought out the fact that everything has changed, we could say, fundamentally about our society in the last 30, 40 years. And yet we still have old mindsets, cliched, data science में अच्छा लगेगा 90% to पढ़ाएगा science में तो उसको science में all these mindsets are something that we need to break today because let's say if you have a key that's really old in the law then the key won't work in that law. If the law keeps changing, the key doesn't change, then that's not a functional system. And for that reason, we need to change. Another thing is that we used to in the older time education used to take everything in the categories. But now we have more and more universities which are tailoring education systems and curriculums to the student. Which is important, like I mentioned, every student is different. Every result which is combined with the student will be different. You can't give the same ingredients to get a different pot, to get a different water and get the same dish. Everything is different. Another thing is that we are products of our environment. We are shaped, everyone, not just everyone, every phenomenon in the world is shaped by everything else. Everything is impacted, affected by everything else, and thus shaped by everything else. Man took the example of how our parents and the environment we grew up in shaped us into 5 years, 0 to 5 shaped 5 to 10, and 5 to 10 will shape this decade, 10 to 20. And next we move on to the point somebody mentioned, why do we have a career and balances here? It was money. And man talked about the redundancy of too much money. There's an X amount in need, and some people might need less than X, and some people might need a lot more than X. So the truth of the matter is you end up using that said amount, and the rest is just an illusion. It's an illusion of security. But it's really, this goes to show how money is more than representative, nothing much, in true value. And that materialistic needs will not equal happiness. This is reiterated through lots of sources in media and man created today, and yet many of us go about most of our lives hoping that materialistic needs will bring about happiness, only to be disappointed in the end. Giving back will give us happiness. Fulfillment, purpose will give us happiness. And there's awareness to bring happiness. Because when you're aware of who you are, then you will never try to compare yourself or try to live up to a shadow or an image that you created in your mind. Because you can never be disappointed with yourself if you know who you truly are. And later, that limit of capability cannot be overcome by knowledge. People who don't know us properly, who might not recognize our capabilities, might push us to do something that we're not able to do. Now, you could study all the books I personally cannot cook. I mean, anything boil water, I can try. But I can't cook. And if I learned all the cookbooks in the world, if I read through all of them and try to understand the theory behind every possible molecular reaction involved in cooking, I would still not be able to go if that is the limit of my capability. That's a hard truth, that's a hard way to swallow, but it's a truth that if we accept, we can move on and then do better with ourselves because it's not like you can't survive if you can only make chai. You know, chai is pretty nutritious. Ma'am, before we used to enter university, and I'm not sure if I got all of them accurately, but consistent academics. Consistent academics is very important because it shows that you can really alter in your schooling life. I mean, we all strong agreement like as long as you're okay and your goal is supporting, that's fine. Universities like that. Entrance tests, obviously, from a logical standpoint, they're important. Your profile, like I mentioned, it's a lot. Profile is a lot more than your academics. Like you can't just write that you got X percentage and that's good enough. You have to talk about yourself as a person, and there's lots of dynamics to a person. There's lots of layers to a person that go beyond academics. What they do in co-curriculars. How they will introduce themselves to their identity. How that identity shapes why that identity is good for a particular degree, program, or career. And fourth is essays. And essays and all these writing skills, people think might be redundant, but the thing about what is very important is inherent creativity. There's many ways to express creativeness, but one of the easiest ways to do that is to pick up your book and start writing. Because you don't know, when you don't know the starting point and you decide a starting point on your own and how that goes to the ending what you decided, everything you are summarizing 200 to 300 words. It's actually very brilliant. I'm talking about the psychometric analysis. I personally have not taken that, but I think I'll take it to the head because I'm really interested about what that is. And it's about self-awareness, about understanding what you're good at, your skills, and even what you might not be good at. Because it's always important to know what you're not good at. You only focus on what you're good at and you sort of trust the rest of the pattern. There are these things you are medium good at. If you can manage things, you will be not good at, and you will be terrible at. And that will help you decide a spectrum of what is okay for you, what is acceptable, what is not. I'm also mentioning that we should handle the future one day at a time. We have to plan out the next 24 hours, but we don't have to plan out the next 10 years. And to reiterate one point, I'd like to quote economic habits. 1 to the power 365 is just 1. 1.01 to the power 365 is a lot larger than that, right? But it's not larger than that, it's actually exponentially larger. So if we take 365 days in a year and improve ourselves by 1% every day, we have improved exponentially. It's a very powerful tool to understand. And I mentioned that there isn't one route to happiness. If you think your happiness is trapped in one secret goal, then please try to find every map possible to that goal. Real life is not like that. There'll be multiple routes, there'll be multiple ways to achieve what you want. And you know, we have a lot of years. I mean, let's say we live to 80. There's a lot of time to try out different things, fail at different things, and still find happiness eventually. The probability of not finding happiness after trying out multiple methods is very, very low. So if it is like that, you're probably the least lucky person on earth. And lastly, ma'am mentioned the 5 P's to get into university. Your program, selecting what you want, place, locality, price because we're not a money, prestige because it's important to feel like your university is special because that builds self-esteem in yourself. If you're in a special university and you got in there, you must be special too. And that affects you it affects you a lot more than people realize. And the last two obviously personal or people based, depending on your personal experiences, circumstances, what would be great for you. Ma'am, these are my major takeaways. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratan, Anushka, and Anushka will be sharing your views after the second session. I now welcome Mrs. Kala Anand, a growth strategy specialist with significant experience in international education industry across South Asia, Middle East, and South Asia markets. She has delivered private class career development workshops for high school students, undergraduate students, and education counselors. She has worked at international government and private organizations in India, Singapore, and Middle East. She's currently engaged as principal advisor at Connect Ed, an outreach and partnership solutions provider, Bengaluru, Karnataka. Mrs. Kalanand will help the students to script their profiles through narrating their stories. I'll request all the students to be seated, and it is not only that you are just going to create a profile with some kind of a form.
It is something which is very creative and a great learning for all of you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Hi everyone. I know it's been a pretty long morning. So I'm going to ask you all, rise in your seats. Rise. That's it. Stretch that back. You've been sitting for a little too long. Stretch that back. Yeah, move those shoulders. Just wriggle those shoulders. Feels good, huh? Feels good. Yeah. Stretch your neck up, down, left, right. You got to activate some of that brain cells, right? Yeah. Excellent. If you're comfortable, you can take your seats now, and we can get going. Okay. So my name is Kala Anand. I'm sure about 25% of you heard what she said. But I'm going to give you a little bit more in terms of why I'm here, some of my background. Again, I know there was a bit of a background read out, but let me give you some context so that you're not thinking, why am I sitting here listening to people? What do they have credible stuff that I can't find on the internet? I can't find my uncle who can tell me. I have an aunt who's in this business. She can tell me. What should I listen to these people, right? So any sort of information is going to help. But I'm going to tell you the context I am going to talk to you today. So first, let me set out my education and my work. Okay, I want to tell you here my backgrounds. I've kind of lived across a few different places. I started my life in Chennai. I did my early years in a small town called Gudur in Andhra Pradesh. Gudur, I don't know if you know, Nellur Gudur, you know. So until at the age of 6 or 7, I hadn't learned a word of English. I hadn't learned a word of English. I only knew Telugu. And then we moved to Chennai, where I grew up, and I studied for 3 years in a convent school, and then my dad thought, that's too much, and he put me in a government school, where I studied with the Tamil medium. So we were Tamil medium and English medium. The mode of communication was mostly Tamil, right? So again, we had teachers who were pulled from Tamil medium into English medium. And then it took a fair bit of effort, and I'll talk you through some of those things to get to where I am today. I did my bachelor's in economics. I did my master's. I did an MBA from SPJIMR, which is one of India's prestigious business schools. The work out here, I put that across because my work has taken me to over 150 odd universities around the world, different parts, whether that's UK, Europe, US, and different types of universities, different conferences that I have spoken. So what I'm going to tell you today is driven a lot from there. And I know there's a picture of me there with the World Cup because I'm a sport nut. And I used to handle sports for the Australian government. And I had the privilege of carrying the World Cup with me in my car. So it always goes in my profile as a highlight of my life. Okay? So what did somebody who came from Gudur, we barely knew a word of Telugu at the age of 8, was actually talking to the CEO of Cricket Australia? Where is that journey? How is that journey even possible? Is it imaginable? And that's a bit of what I'm going to talk to you. And I want to leave you with this quote. I don't know if any of you can read it. The challenge of life is to build a resume that doesn't just tell a story of what you want to accomplish, but why you want to do that. Where is the purpose of why? Because when you inevitably stumble and find yourself stuck in a hole, that is the story that will get you out. You getting a meaning of that? What that means? You can say all the wonderful things that you've done and why you're doing it. Most often, when you want to get to that next step in life, when you're down and you want to push yourself, that story of why you're doing something And that skill, which is beyond what you did in college, is going to kick in. Right? Okay, let's start with a little quiz. I kind of going to work this very interactive, right? So, which of these you think you don't need to become, let's say a basic thing. All of you want to study, some don't want to be engineers, some don't want to be doctors. Let's say to be a business manager. And I'm saying a manager in any business, okay? Doesn't matter which industry, any business. How many of you think I don't need to study history? Show of hands. I don't need history. I want to become, I don't need, or anybody just thinks I don't need to study history at all. How many of you? Raise your hands. Don't feel shy. This history teacher is not here, no? Okay. How many of you think you don't need to study politics, yes, civics? What's going on in that newspaper? Why should I? How many of you don't want to know anything on, I don't need to know the politics? Okay? How many of you think I don't need to study environmental sciences? I don't think I need to have anything on environmental sciences if I want to become a manager, a business manager. What does a business manager do? Grow the business. That's the business manager's mandate. So who thinks no environmental studies? I still don't see us covering 100%. So either somebody is still doubtful, okay, let me come. Who thinks I don't need psychology? I don't need to study psychology. Everybody loves psychology. Interesting. Okay, so we'll come back. How many of you think I have to study business management? I have to study business management. How many of you think to become a business manager, you have to study business management? You have to do a BBA. BBA kar lo, MBA kar lo types. Yeah? Get into IIT, I am best business manager. How many of you think? Yeah? Excellent. Let's get going. Now, we're going to validate some of our responses. Some of you haven't responded, and that's perfectly okay, right? You're not sure. You're not sure. You're not sure not because you're not sure. You're not sure where is she going with this. That's maybe why. I don't want to get caught by raising my hand and putting myself out. So let's see. Let's see where we go. So we're going to work through some case studies, and we'll try to understand your own responses. I'm going to take a contemporary business problem. I'm going to take 3-4 business problems that might be interesting, and I'm going to get your responses. I also double hat as Santa Claus. So Radhika here has been kind enough to get some chocolates for responses so that I'll keep your energies up. Some sugar for the morning. Okay. This is very exciting. Anybody heard of this company called Adidas? Yeah. Okay. So last year, exciting, Adidas launched this fabulous shoe. Adidas from Singapore, headquarters Southeast Asia, launched this fantastic shoe which had a certain art. It was inspired by a certain art form which is called Velankulit. It's basically shadow puppetry, right? So imagine today you have like these tantra t-shirts, so you kind of get inspired, right? Yoga inspired stuff. And so very inspired by this art form, Adidas launched a range of shoes, and you can't read it, but I can read it out for you. That particular design, it said that this is a tribute to the cultural heritage of Malaysia. The shadow puppetry art is extremely popular in Malaysia, that this is a tribute to that, right? So in a way of putting culture. How many of you think, very good idea? No need to feel, just because I asked the question doesn't mean. I thought it's a great idea, right? It was fantastic, it was all over the billboards. Who doesn't like that? It's a fabulous idea. A great brand like Adidas, endorsing culture, it's a great idea, right? Okay, so what is a business problem such an idea could have come through? Just to give you an image of what is shadow puppetry. We've all seen that. So you know it's puppetry, they're dressed in black, kind of, so it's a very popular art form. Not many of you may be familiar with Southeast Asia, but this is a popular art form, and this particular image, does it tell you a little bit about the characteristics of that person in his face? Not so much. You may not be able to make out the difference. But here's the story. Wayang Kulit is an Indonesian art form. It was popularized in Malaysia, but it's an Indonesian art form, right? Imagine they took sambar and they called it Karnataka's. What would happen? Right? Somebody said we got sambar inspired saris and this is a tribute to Karnataka. We'll be up in arms. Even biryani today we are very careful. Hyderabad biryani, Lucknow biryani, Donne biryani, we're very careful, right? We're not calling biryani to. So now you can imagine an art form that is actually originated in Indonesia but popularized by Malaysia. No doubt it's the most popular art form in Malaysia. And Jason, who's an artist, is excellent in this, in the scripting, which is, he did the design for the Adidas. So what happened is Adidas Singapore eventually came out and had to apologize and pull out the entire brand off the shelf. This happened exactly 12 months ago. Not only had to do that, they actually sent out an apology to all the people and on public platforms to Indonesia saying, we are very sorry about this. We shouldn't have done it, right? If they had ignored it, what would have happened? So you kind of have a market you tried to please, which is Malaysia, and in that you got the ire of an even bigger market like Indonesia, which is much more larger, and they can't afford to do that. And this was done by somebody in Singapore. And can you imagine if you were a business manager in that advertising agency? Because you sat there with the marketing and advertising and said, wow, this will be fantastic. Let's just use some culture, put it on the shoes. That's a great way to be closer to people. And what did you miss in that whole process of design, marketing, in that whole brand building? There's something we missed, right? Okay, engineering. I added this because I was told that this is like a lot of engineering interest here, okay? But I didn't realize, so I'm going to talk about this company called Vedanta. Anybody heard of Vedanta? Yeah. So it's a massive engineering firm. Any of you want to be engineers, you'll be looking to find a placement in Vedanta in one of those roles, right? So, this is a traditional business. Here is a business proposition. Extract 2 billion worth of bauxite, which is under the hills of the Niyamgiri range in Orissa. Can somebody tell me what's bauxite and what its uses? I need to raise hands, only then you're going to get a chocolate. All of you speak, then you have to split the chocolate into 15. Yeah. Aluminium ore. Bauxite is aluminium ore. What industries do you think? Steel industries. But where does steel mainly go into? I'm going to give that for bauxite. Thank you so much. Your name? Muskan. Thanks, Muskan. Sorry, I'm partial to girls answering science questions, engineering questions. But where is aluminium largely being used? Which industry?
Aviation.
Aviation. Go for that. So yes, aviation, one of the largest, somebody said construction. Yeah, so that fits at construction. I want to give it to him as well. 2 of them. Okay, aviation, construction, and I'm telling you, there are many other industries, but I'm highlighting these 2 because these are massively booming industries. Imagine how much goes into the aviation business and construction. We are seeing everywhere, right? Everything, these modern homes, we're seeing these sliding doors and these modern looking cut constructions. A lot of aluminium. Even every equipment in our house, the washing machine, the dryer, everything that we use, the more we buy any of these electronics, extensively use that steel and aluminium sheets. So the business proposition for Vedanta is 2 billion worth of bauxite under the surface of this thing. So 2 billion worth of actual ore, raw material is going to give them lots more whatever aluminium or steel, whatever, which they can sell. So clearly it's a fantastic business proposition, right? So if you were a business manager, What are things you will consider? Saying, hey, is this a good investment or not? Should I go dig for this bauxite or not? What is the consideration you will look at? So one of the things I told you is, hey, the aviation construction industry is growing, so I'm going to get demand. So demand is one of the angles. What other angle will you think about? Come on. Yeah. Maybe the quality of bauxite, is it pure? Excellent. Quality of bauxite, right? Which means if I get low quality bauxite, how much will I have to spend in that quality? Is that if it's all 2 billion low quality, how am I going to convert? Yes. Excellent. The amount of money I need to invest in transportation, because this whole place is untapped, and how much of money do I have to invest in putting the tractors, how much labor I have to employ, is that money going to be worth it versus the demand and versus what I'm going to get, right? Are we good? By and large, you agree? These would be like the broad ones. Anything? Yeah? Profit. Profit is a function of demand and the money that I put in. Then that's my profit. So how do I measure profit? How much money am I going to put in making that happen? How much can I sell on? And that's my profit. So yes. Yeah. Permit. Oh yes, government. Right? Is my permits going to come? Is it going to be longer? How much do I have to? How much do I have to bribe? How much do I have to save on bribes? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah?
Problems with the locals.
Problems with the locals. What do you mean by that?
Such as the people, they may not want this company mining in their forests. Yes.
So mostly the tribes there may not want the mining happen. So you're lucky because that is a business consideration. The Dongria Kond tribe that has been living there, is that a business consideration? It's a social factor, right? It's a social factor in making a business consideration. Fair enough. I'm going to quickly go on. We can't spend because there's more fun case studies coming, but we'll keep going at it after I finish as well. Sorry, he's been raising his hand forever. Can you just... I'm getting my morning walk here today, by the way.
I wanted to answer environment.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. I don't know, we're running all the chocolates out. I heard engineering is not a big deal, but just in one case study, we're running out of chocolates. Somebody said environment, yes, very important consideration. But okay, now the moment we are triggering on social, I think all of you, but if you see immediately on the surface of it, you talked everything which is very business related. Until somebody actually mentioned, what about the people? Right? Your mind doesn't even go there in the first instance. What about the people? I'm going to give you another reason which brought the entire project down. And that is historical and religious. Not only is the tribe, it's not first time in India where you had to relocate tribe to start a development. It's not a big deal. Many companies have been doing that for generations. All the modern construction is demolishing forests, people, you relocate. The hill itself was worshipped as a god by the tribes. The Niyamgiri hill was actually the god. So you can remove the people, but how do you remove that connection? How do you remove your god? How do you demolish your god? So the issues went deep, right? So everything happened, right? They went ahead, they got the government permit, they set up the plants, and then came the issue that the tribes then finally reached out to organizations there. They were able to voice it out and saying, this is a real problem. I think some of you are feeling very cold, I think, on the AC, that end. No? The boys are good? The girls are complaining? Some bit. So if you're uncomfortable with the AC, try and move like this side or something. Yeah? Feel free. So what is important, right, in a business consideration? Is it the bauxite, which is actually my money? Do I care about people? Versus the jobs that you're going to give. Imagine if you said no, it's literally putting up a factory, how much jobs it's going to give. There's workers. The moment workers come, schools start. Right? So how much of jobs, and so are you going to say no to development? How do you balance human development? And finally, yes, more importantly, the environment. The first plant itself started to pollute the earth. Water became red, the land became red, right? The water's quality kind of degraded. So this case was fought forever. Finally, after 12 years, Vedanta conceded defeat. The plant is still there, and they're hoping, I think, at some point. But this goes as one of those biggest case studies where it's not only about business. Why a business decision is not made by a group of finance people who understand profits. Why it has socialists, environmentalists, all making business decisions. Quickly. Okay, let's move to another quick contemporary business problem. Okay. So, can anybody tell me what happened here and what this is? Yeah, let's go behind me. Quiet. Otherwise you can't hear. I know there's lots of excitement. See, I confessed at the start that I'm a sport nut. So there's very less chances there is no sport. But I'm going to come there for sure. I'll come. There's more questions.
Ma'am, Coca-Cola lost $4 billion because Ronaldo chose water over Coke.
Okay, but I'm not going to give you the chocolate. Great answer at that level. What was my question? What happened here? What happened in that image? Explain to you know that, but you already got a chocolate, no?
He just preferred the bottle of water over Coke.
He preferred a bottle of water over Coke. Yeah, let me pass it if somebody has a better answer. I'm going to come back. I'll come back. I can go actually because I have to talk to him.
Which probably regarded Coca-Cola as unhealthy and its business will drop.
Okay, let me lead in what happened here, then I'll come and ask you all even more probing questions. So what was the tournament? Euro. So this is a press conference after the first game, right? Right? Do we get, who did they play against? I think France and Portugal played the first game. So this is first game that Ronaldo appeared at the press conference. So this is a press conference of one of the largest tournaments in football. Everybody watched, just for the benefit of a lot of people who don't watch football. And what happened is Ronaldo sat there. There was a bottle of Coke. There was a glass of water. So there was a small bottle of Coke. He kept the Coke aside. He picked up the bottle of water and he said aqua. Everything else these guys have interpreted. He preferred all that. What happened was he kept the bottle of Coke aside. He picked up the bottle of water and he said aqua. Right? Okay. Here's the big question that I'm going to come on. How many of you think what Ronaldo did was right? Only that much? How many of you think what Ronaldo did was right? Okay, quickly. Who have I not asked? Why do you think he's right?
Because during the games, drinking some caffeine-related drinks may cause a little problem on his health.
So basically, I'm coming. So basically, Ronaldo is, in my opinion, one of the fittest athletes. One of the fittest athletes out there. Remember I didn't say the only, so I think that's a credit you have to give him at his age, what he plays. And he is against sugary drinks. He lives a very healthy lifestyle. He donates to children's funds. There are a lot of young kids like you who follow him. right? So in many ways, he felt responsible personally that if I drink this, I will be endorsing a caffeine sugar drink, which is unhealthy. How many of you think what Ronaldo did was wrong? Only one hand is raised. So I'm coming to you, but you won a chocolate, but on the condition that you can gift it to your best friend. So who's your best friend? Now that's the question. Okay, silence. So we are asking him the question why he thinks what Ronaldo did was wrong.
Ma'am, I think it sets a bad precedent because sponsorships are required for the game, and by this, Coca-Cola lost a lot of money which they had spent on this. So unless it's for religious reasons, like Paul Pogba is Muslim, so yeah, so I don't think this was right.
Okay, so yeah, we have to give it to him. So he said, so here's the response, right? Why was Coca-Cola bottle on the table in the first place? They were the largest sponsors of the games. So some business manager, sponsorship manager of Coca-Cola, sat there, worked the proposal with Euro, saying that we will give you $7 billion as sponsorship. We need 1,500 things. I want branding in the field, I want blah blah, it has to be in the table at the press conference. If Ronaldo was so against Coca-Cola, he shouldn't even be playing on a field that has Coca-Cola branding. I'm twisting the thing, right? So if he was so against Coca-Cola, he shouldn't be playing in a tournament that is sponsored by Coca-Cola. So what the whole thing about Coca-Cola losing 4 billion is not true. Go back and check the records. Markets were closing that day, so things happened. It picked up the next morning. So in reality, in the book of accounts, it didn't actually lose. There was a crash as global markets were closing, and then it picked up. So nothing really affected bottom line. But there was a certain business ethic he breached, right? Somebody, who are you as a player to come in and say this can't be there because you have a personal issue? So you put your personal issues ahead of that. So that's a challenge. So what did Coca-Cola do? What did Coca-Cola do? They went back and they told the Euro saying this is not done. So Euro said nobody removes any sponsors, paraphernalia, anything from the table. That's part of the contract. Honor the contract. You have no right to remove it. So they told a very hard line. They said no chance. Don't put your personal stuff above this because the business is something else. And I know he preempted it, but so I'm not going to come this side. I'm going to go far right somewhere there. And versus this situation, let me also say what happened. Okay, so in a sense of time, I just want somebody to keep track. Okay, so the next day or the end of that conference, sorry, this is the first one was after Portugal's first match. The second image is Euros happened in like the first game happened in France because they were defending champs. So I think that was immediately after the France's game. Who's this player? Paul Pogba. Okay. There were two big sponsors of Euro. There was Coca-Cola and there was another big sponsor who's Heineken. What is Heineken? Don't feel shy, it's okay. You can always say somebody drinks. So Heineken is a beer brand, right? So the two large beverages, which we both know are unhealthy, both have nothing for fitness, sponsored one of the largest football tournaments. So Paul Pogba came into the conference, removed it. Now, I'm going to ask somebody who has no idea about this. Raise of hand saying, I don't know anything about this. Yeah, somebody here? You don't know? Okay, I'm going to come to you. So, Paul Pogba removed that. Heineken, don't worry. There's no right or wrong answers. You can see by now we're all just voicing what we think. Paul Pogba removed that Heineken bottle. Now, just like Coke said, you cannot do that. Do you think Heineken can do the same? And why not?
He cannot remove the bottle because of the sponsorship. And
Absolutely. So based on the information that you have now, which is the track saying business, sponsorship has to be there. What if I told you, Paul Pogba removed the bottle of Heineken because he is Muslim and and the faith doesn't allow to endorse alcohol? Was he right or not?
For his religion, it was right. But if he considers about the whole, his team and all the people who are organizing, it's wrong.
Perfectly sane example, response that again he's putting his own personal religious belief ahead. In the larger scheme of sponsorship, what he did was wrong. Here's the next question. If you were Heineken's head president, will you go and say, I don't care if you're Muslim or not, this thing remains? Will you go and issue a statement?
I would not.
Not. You would not. Right? So what's happened here? We said Ronaldo was right. There's a personal ethic. Then we said, oh no, that's sponsorship. There's business ethic. And there is religious ethic. Suddenly, there is a hierarchy of ethics. So what Heineken did is they came out and said, apologies, we should have been aware of it. If we have anybody who doesn't endorse alcohol is from the faith, we will not place the bottle on the table. So on the contrary, Heineken's share went up, their brand value went up. Because somebody there understood. The Heineken was there in the first place, they should have realized this, to not even have gone down the road of what happened. And then there are other environmental issues that Coke faces, which is the ongoing effects of pollution. In Kerala, it's not only about polluting the body, there's immense water pollution that happens out of Coke factories. This has been an ongoing debate. So if you were the head of Coca-Cola, what kind of worries? Is profitability going to worry you, or are these issues going to worry you more? These issues are going to worry you, right? Quickly, I'm going to very quickly talk about, are you all getting bored of the case studies? Yes? No? Okay, last one. So, sorry, what's the time? 11:10. Oh, we're good. So I had wanted to keep it at 30 minutes. Okay. So another 5 minutes of the case studies, and then we'll go into why is she talking about all this, right? I want you to listen to all these things. I want to talk about digital business. Digital marketing is very big. We all agree. It's huge now, whatever marketing is happening. So this particular company called The Minimalist, very impressive. 2 young boys, IIT graduates, big entrepreneurs, right? Have an impressive client list. They're quoted in like every sort of media. How many of you think very successful? How many of you think they're successful? I think successful. Okay, successful. Young entrepreneurs who came from IIT. They could do no wrong. They came from one of the best institutions in the world. I want to talk about the person on the right, Sahil, who is the face of the company, right? So he's online a lot. He's on the face of the company. Sahil came out on, everybody knows on this platform called LinkedIn? Okay. So Sahil is very popular on LinkedIn. He has a lot of following. So a few months ago he said, when someone says your screen is getting stuck, I can't able to see it, you wonder what to fix first, the screen or their grammar. Funny? Very funny. What? Okay, it is funny. I would crack that in a dining table with a group of my friends. As a head of a business who has thousands of following on LinkedIn, was this inappropriate? What does the comment tell you about this person? Elite? Somebody said elitist? Yeah? 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 He's judging people based on their English capability? Yes? Grammar? That's interesting. But yeah, so all of that stuff comes across as cocky, elitist. Yes, he had a great education. So imagine he's doing a digital marketing workshop. Somebody in a remotest corner is very interested and he's logged in. to seeing this. And this person may be very good technically, but may not have the English skills. And probably said that. When Sahil put this comment, imagine if you were the person who actually raised it and you really adored this man, which is why you were sitting. How does that feel? Right? Just because he had the right to good education. So these are some things they don't teach you in IIT. Right? So this backfired majorly because there were clients, it backfired all over. It was on NDTV, it said slammed for being, or for mocking somebody's English. Somebody talked about grammar something. So there were people who came out and said, if this is the ethics on which your company is running, we don't want to work with you. Right? So what happens as an entrepreneur, remember in the earlier episode, we kind of talked about Ronaldo's personal. Now does what Ronaldo did, what Coke, you think Coke has the guts to tell Ronaldo, get off, you can't do this? No, they can't do that. Ronaldo's too big. He's too big. He can do a mistake, he can walk away with it, even if as long as he says it's my personal right. Can Sahil walk away as an entrepreneur? You can't. So as an entrepreneur, some of the personal ethics, how you talk, how you communicate, what you're going to do is reflective of the organization. It's very important to understand some of these things. He lay low for a long time and then came back again. And each of his companies asked for an apology, right? So here again, education, human development, and all that. Oh, this is my favorite testing. Okay, I'm going to finish this off in like 3 minutes quickly because there's no chocolates for this, so there's no Q&A. But I'm going to very quickly run this. NBA, any fans in the house of NBA? Yeah, fabulous. So the NBA is a popular basketball. It's what cricket is to India, NBA is to the US. There is a fabulous team called the Houston Rockets. Who you see in the middle is Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey is the business manager, right? Business manager of a sports firm. Now you've seen by now that if you want to study business, you can be in like 1,500 industries. What you like, right? We're getting to that in a bit. So he's a business manager of Houston Rockets. He took it to some phenomenal heights. He came into Houston Rockets in 2007. And if you see the graph, how the company just grew, he took it to phenomenal heights. He kind of took Houston Rockets. Who knows who's a star player of Houston Rockets? Arden, yeah. So he took the Houston Rockets to phenomenal heights, gotten multi-billion-dollar engagements and all of that. James Harden, he signed a 4-year contract, that kind of dollars, which has every number. Even he can't believe it from his expression. And then they took Houston Rockets to different parts of Asia and all of that. Huge franchise it became. It became a massive franchise. So really nothing could go wrong. That kind of growth, nothing could go wrong. And then, Daryl Morey is not just a business manager. He's got a huge Twitter following. He's a person, an individual with his own voice. Any of you recall, you might have been little children, but any of you recall this whole issues that was happening in Hong Kong 2 years ago? We had lots of riots, no flights were flying. Hong Kong was still going through the turmoil. So, like we all hashtag Black Lives Matter and every hashtag that basically moves. The whole Stand with Hong Kong hashtag became very popular. So Daryl Morey came out exactly 19 October 2019, my bad. 2019, Daryl Morey came out with this tweet, right? Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong. Just quick show of hand, as a humanitarian, what he did was right. Humanitarian, right? Because the whole world is screaming. Okay, I'm quickly going to run through what happened and how, just some quick facts. The NBA viewership went to 1 billion viewers in 2017-18. 35% of visitors to NBA came from outside of North America. Top 5 markets were outside the US were China, Australia, Brazil, Canada, and Mexico. Now, more than 640 million people in China watched the NBA programming. Over 300 million play basketball in China. Double the number of people who actually watch its programming. With that many million followers on Chinese social media, NBA has the highest fan following in China, more than anyone else. And Tencent, which is a Chinese company, now we all talk about digital rights, they paid a lot of money to get the digital rights for NBA. So, why is this a business fact important in this particular context? What was the issue in Hong Kong?
The Chinese actually want to take over Hong Kong and claim it as their own territory. Right now, Hong Kong is an independent territory.
Anyone else has a different answer? Okay, so China, Hong Kong is not a country on its own. Hong Kong is part of China. Okay, and what the Hong Kong people wanted at that time is their own rights and freedom and all of that. And China was saying, no, you have to kind of annex. So somebody who actually stood in support of Hong Kong from a business that heavily depends on China, right? He treated it as an individual, but the business depends on China. And what happened? Chinese television said all broadcast will be suspended of the NBA. Tencent said they are suspending all the broadcast digital rights. Their largest online shopping removed all the, what do you call the franchise? You can't have the t-shirts and whatever. Now, the Basketball Association canceled their exhibition games with Houston Rockets. So basically, Houston Rockets and Dallas were going to play an exhibition game, and we all know exhibition games are very important in these big leagues. That got cancelled. Nike was threatened. Nike is the official sponsor of Houston Rockets. China said no Nike stuff will be sold, right? Because of what Daryl Morey had tweeted. And some of the big sponsors, big banks said they were going to pull out money. That is the financial implication. $400 million loss for NBA and a massive loss in social media following. Social media is money too, right? Now, ideologically, there was division. Adam Silver came out of NBA and said, hey, we respect value of equality, blah, 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 blah. Everybody should have a right. And one particular person actually said, yeah, but we all have freedom of speech, but we must know the implications on the business and all of that. Do you know who said this? This man is called LeBron James. He's the biggest star, and he basically was to sign a massive contract in China that week. It got cancelled because of this. So he personally lost money. So he got upset saying, why did he tweet? This is affecting my income, right? So did that go well? No. And Houston Rockets lost their fan base. LeBron James's team lost their fan base back. Their teams got booed back in home country. There was fear, outrage, there was threatening letters. You know, Daryl Morey said, I can't. What is the pressure? What did they want? They wanted him to quit. That's it. Finally, it all ended with Daryl Morey quitting. He quit, and there was all sorts of celebrations. Now, I've said all of that. I want you to kind of soak that in. These are real studies. These are real ones. And I want to quickly talk about a case study that I'm very close to. Do we know what this is? This was when the terrorist attacks happened in Taj. So I told you, during this time, when the attacks happened, I think, I was working for the Australian government. And I was with the Australian Consulate Office. The Australian Consulate Office has consular officers who do all diplomatic, and I was in the trade. I was handling business. I had nothing to do with consular relations. I was handling business. I had just finished a big meeting at 7 p.m. I had a huge delegation from Sydney who was staying at the Oberoi. I had just finished a meeting with the Sheriff of Mumbai on a business delegation, and I was deciding to either meet my clients who were staying, and then last minute, client said, no, it's really late, 7:30, maybe we kind of just meet tomorrow morning. So I left home. I left home and I took my laptop and went home. I left about 7:40. By the time I reached home about 8:39, the news had come that the bombings had happened. So I was only one with a laptop, with the numbers of the people. And the terrorists had holed in on the same floor that all my clients were. The 18th floor of the Oberoi, 17th floor of the Oberoi is where all my business delegation clients were, the club rooms, and that's where they had holed up. And I get a call. I'm a trade person. I'm not a consulate person, I'm a trade person. So I get a call from my consul general saying, hey, I heard, and those days it was not, 2008, 9, whatever, it was never too common to take, we didn't have the work from home culture. So you dock your laptop, you come back. But I was only one with contact details. So can you just call these people and say they're okay? So I spent the whole night being awake, trying to call each one of them. And you can imagine the person on the other side, the fears that they're going through. And I have studied economics, I have studied business management, I have no clue of counseling. And this person, I have to talk about handling their fears. And I'm the only consolation for them because I'm connecting with them from the team here, right? So that apart, whole night that happened. Next morning, I get a call. Will you be willing to come to work? I said, yes, I'm willing to come to work. Because we were kind of a small office, and there was only 2 girls who agreed to come to work. None of the men came because they were all very scared. The families were scared for the men. I said, yeah, I'll come. I raised my hand. I said, I'll do it. What do you want me to do? And imagine what my task was. What was my task? This big gig, BA, MBA, traveled across many countries. What was my task? I had to go to the hospitals and check the morgues and identify citizens. Could I stop there and say, this is not my job? Do I have any formal training? No. But you have to come in and do that stuff. And for the next 3 days, I lived in the office. We slept on the... Okay, very quickly, in the interest of time as well. I want to keep you engaged. Anytime anybody feels bored, just raise your hand, okay? So I know. I can't do much about it. I can ask you to just take a stroll. As I said, the next 3 days I slept in the office with 2 women. And we're meeting every injured Australian citizen is coming in, blood, blah, blah. There's all sorts of weird stories there. I don't want to get into it. But we had to pull through the next 4 days, and the aim was to get everybody back home. That's all was the mission. And there was lots of things that I saw during that time. And eventually the center won the award. I was kind of recognized to a different level within the organization for what I had done and how I had managed the situation. That led to one of my biggest career successes, and what I did with the Australian government goes back to that one incident, right? It was to that incident where the leadership took notice about the capabilities. It had nothing to do with my background. Me and a colleague of mine. A colleague of mine basically was a receptionist during that time, and then she went on to become an assistant business manager. She's currently now the vice president at the Irish. Okay, so she's now the vice president at the Ireland Development Authority, right? So all I'm trying to say is one of the biggest career successes that I went on to get multiple awards, got picked, notices, was all started from that. I would say it had a lot of attributes. Forget my other capabilities of business, but the fact that I became a team leader to what I achieved was a big difference, right? Oops, sorry, my bad. Just waiting for the thing to fire up. Okay, and I want to also talk about my backstory. I'm barely recognizable. That was in 1994. I must tell you, I'm 50 and I have a 25-year-old girl. So that is ages ago. So don't think, yeah, she's put her mom's face up there. I know. No, joke. Yeah. So yes, I have a 25-year-old who lives in Melbourne. She's a psychologist. So a lot of what I'm going to say comes also from the heart of having seen a lot of kids grow up, right? So I was in business school. And we had an option, all business schools tell you go and do corporate. You guys, even in 18, want to do industry internship. Industry, do with corporate. There was a corporate internship opportunity. And my dean threw out a challenge. Who wants to do a social immersion? I said, yeah, I want to do a social immersion. So my task was to spend 3 months in the interior belt of Andhra Pradesh, study the districts and study the Hearts and Melas. We do the Chandis. And look at how much the middleman is getting out of it, the farmers benefit, and actually come up with a solution of how can the Hearts and Melas be more professionalized. The disorganized markets can make more money, so the farmers and the producers make more money. So I spent 3 months, and I have lots of stories out of that 3 months. But what was interesting is the company that gave the project told me, you can only plan your starting point. Nothing should be booked in advance. You can only know where you're starting. Everything else is on the go. We will give you a letter from the local councillor, Tahsildar, saying you're a student. There is a letter from my college. There's a letter from the local collector. That's about it. Right? This was quite an experience. I had to travel unreserved, travel with goats, took rides on the road. Like it was, and that time it was quite an exciting. And there's no mobile phones either. Somehow I often think back and somebody asks me what I did. I got a counselor who met me 6 months after the terrorist attacks and asked me whether I was feeling angry, how did I cope? And I said, no, I have done something in my life that prepared me for this day. And I think this experience had prepared me for eventualities that you don't plan for. How do you quickly think on your feet? How do you problem solve? How do you not go dressed like this to a Heart and Mela? How do you go with misconstrued color clothing, no makeup, so you can sit down with those farmers and have the conversation, right? All these are immersive experiences that I think to some extent I want to chart that story, and that's exactly what I'm telling you today. You're going to see a lot of courses, you're looking at universities and all of that. But remember, that's not what's going to get you in terms of professional success. It will get you your first due into any institution, into any corporate organization. But professional success is beyond academic knowledge. It's getting a sense of history, understanding things from a historical perspective. It's basically understanding what's the right of the state, individual. Remember that Vedanta case. It's every case now I say, should obviously resonate with you. You must have an understanding of what's international rights and what is international politics. Have a sense of what's community psychology, not just individual psychology. How do certain communities take decisions? That's very important to understand if you want to be in any position. Understanding business valuation is not just about profits, but a lot of other aspects. Media relations, ethical debate. Always ask a question. Always put yourself, is this right or wrong? But right from whose context? Wrong from whose context? You must be able to understand that. There's no right and wrong. Everything has got that contextualization. Critical analysis, understanding the impact of our action, our words, our work. Comfort with complexity. That's what I told you. This is going to be more and more critical. The world is going to get more complex. It's going to throw a lot of, how are you going to be comfortable? Dabbling in different things. Not saying horses blinkers, that's all I will look at and that's what I do. Cultural sensitivity, and finally empathy, right? Very important. Now is going to, the bride. Now is I'm going to go into the academic end of it. So all this is nice, but what do I take away? What can I write on my book that I can take away? Now we're going to do a bit of that. What I want to put here is a fantastic format. I know many of you can't see it, but it's really, in the world was used to be education, population, agriculture, technology, economics. These were all different clusters. Slowly they started to talk to each other. And today's world is super complex. Everything is interconnected. Climate change interconnects with global politics, population is integrating with water, agriculture is economics. So there is no one stream only. You can't just say, I'm going to sit in that little pocket of technology, because the global systems are all talking to each other and they're talking to in such big pace, because the global problems are changing. Why is a young environmentalist taking on an international politician? Why is a sportsman causing so much agony to a prime minister of a country? Why are we burning effigies of music people? Why is Amazon getting pulled out for their spacecraft? There's immense examples as you look around you that the problems of the world are not going to be solved by one little way of thinking, right? And that's important. And I've just circled one because it's difficult for you to read, that what this predicts is the World Economic Forum actually says that 100% of our time, work life, for you, all of you, when you get into work life or into college life, is going to be spent in problem solving. Ask any of your teachers here, they get up in the morning and they say, what is the challenge I've got to solve? Forget creatively changing the world. Just what is the problem? So 100%. So how quicker you can progress in life is how quicker you can creatively solve problems. How you can collaborate with other people to solve some of these problems. And that's going to become what employers want to see of you. Is this person thinking on the feet? That's what institutions are going to look for as well. Universities are going to look for some of those things. The definitions of careers are changing. Tech jobs is no longer just working in technology. Technology is data sciences, it's learning experience design. Technology and education are meeting in learning experience design. Technology and robotics is meeting. Technology and health is meeting in medical informatics. In design, there is technology. The cluster of jobs, the green jobs are emerging. If any of you haven't considered it, the green jobs, conservation, environmentalist, all of that. There is now chief environmental officers for some of the large companies. What if I told you you could be an engineer, but one of the biggest jobs that Vedanta will give you is if you are an environmentalist? You will earn more than what an engineer would earn, because that's more important for that business. You can do a bachelor's of environmental engineering or environmental science or studies and work for a Coca-Cola. You understand where the conversations are changing? This is very important for you to know. Finance jobs are changing. Quantitative analysis is coming, app development. Finance is not about working in a bank anymore, right? Finance and technology are interfacing. Finance and risk is interfacing. Lending, farming, agriculture and finance, the small scale lenders and farmers, that is impacting. And this final cluster of health jobs. If you love science, doctor is not the end of your world. There's so much to do. Whether that's a physiotherapist to a psychologist to a public health professional, and health integrates with environment, health integrates. You understand where these cross connections are happening, right? Very important. So what's happening is I'm going to give you some stellar examples, and I want you to, this is something you can keep note of or I can share, is where these disciplines are meeting and what kind of future is actually emerging. So when you're looking at universities in your career fair, right? What are you going to think? From what lens are you going to think at these courses? I want to talk about a few examples here. Psychology and social studies. This is basically coming together when you're talking community psychology, you're talking about what you want to do in organizations that are addressing smaller communities. Economics and environmental studies is coming together because any project on sustainability needs environmentalists and mathematicians, environmentalists and economics, right? Computer science and philosophy is coming together in AI. You might be a techie and work in AI, but remember there is a job called AI ethicist. You heard of that? An AI ethicist is basically somebody who has philosophy background. You can build an AI, but how is that AI beneficial or not? Whose sentiment is upsetting? These are all ethical questions. So every AI has an ethics team. Bachelors of philosophy people who are working with Google probably has one of the largest group of AI ethicists, right? And then history and politics is coming together, in journalism and other areas. Biology and mathematics is coming together, in modern biology. Bioinformatics, post-COVID bioinformatics is one of the biggest booms. So if you like biology and mathematics, there is a career out there for you. Literature and computer science, who would have thought? Who loves literature? Who loves literature? Okay, show of hands. How many times have you heard saying literature se kuch nahi hone wala? All of you. There's no future. BA English karke, what is the future? Okay? What if I told you that you love BA English, you love English? Who raised your hand here? You did? Do you like Netflix? Okay, you may not, personally. But do you like auto texting on your thing when it does, like when you're typing stuff? Speak recognition stuff? Speech? That's where English and computer science is coming together. A huge area. Everything in terms of speech synthesis, machine learning. Today you're not typing anymore. You're speaking. You're speaking into machines. That requires somebody to understand phonetics. It requires somebody to understand language, text. When you're typing, Google automatically prompts you, right? In Gmail? Who's working on that? You think techies are working on that? No. It's English. People with literature. English literature are working on such large projects. Politics and business studies is coming together in trade, similar to what I did. Economics and psychology is coming together. In advertising, for instance, I speak to a lot of, my job is largely working a lot with HR in industry. And one of the things that advertising people ask for now is psychology graduates. They're saying, don't give me English communication graduates, give me psychology graduates because we want to get authentic in our communication, right? Chemistry and social studies in environment and energy, physics and computer science is coming together in artificial intelligence, in quantum computing. Social studies and business studies is coming together in anything that's corporate social responsibilities. Economics and global arts. Again, who loves the arts? Who loves the arts? No arts? Same story, no future situation. BA, no future. Oh, this is huge. Global arts, anything in every company today is going into virtual reality, artificial reality, and all of that, the whole omni-channel marketing. This is where arts people with visual design skills are working with techies to translate some of these solutions, right? So the new age career matrix is not, you're not going to find accounting, doctor, engineer in this matrix, right? I don't want to lose people on the back. I know there are better things to do, but don't worry, we'll finish up very soon. So the new age career matrix actually has agribusiness, it has social good, it has analytics and all of that. I'm happy to share this if you want for the students. So effectively it's content. I'm not saying don't study engineering or business, it's content, but it's context also. I might like English, but I don't have to just work as a journalist. I can work across multiple industries. So that is what is changing, that the context is getting much, much bigger. But some of these competencies, this is just a list by McKinsey on what are employers looking for. They are telling universities, give us students with these kind of skills. There are many of them. There's self-leadership, digital, there is interpersonal skills, there's cognitive skills, communication, creative problem solving, all of that. Now, all of you get fantastic academic reports. Average, below average, whatever. You can show an academic report and say, I've got 60% in mathematics. It depends on the person who judges, which is great or not. How are you going to prove that you have all these abilities? Which is what is going to become a potential for a good university, which is also what's going to, your report card is not telling you that he's got creative problem solving skills. It's not going to say she is a great collaborator, right? How are you going to be able to establish, not just in terms of success of showing to somebody, but also, as I told you, for success in careers. And this is where that immersive learning is supremely important. Don't ignore all you can do outside the academics for chasing those numbers on your academic report card, because they don't matter eventually. Right? They don't matter. I'm married to somebody who headed Asia Pacific for DHL. He's a second class in his university. Didn't matter. Didn't matter eventually. But what you did from there And that is where the immersive learning comes in. What do I mean by immersive learning? What's the other creative projects you can do? What can you do outside your comfort zone to show that you're a good collaborator, that you have initiative, that you are a good team player, that you have thought about a situation? Remember what I did in that rural belt of Andhra? There were skills that I didn't know that came into forefront, which helped me later in business, right? And one of the projects that I've been working very closely, and I'll definitely talk to your school management, is this fabulous platform called Crew, which is a complete project-based learning platform where all kids can actually access projects from every big university, the Harvard to Oxford, to Houston, to Syracuse, to NUS. They all offer contemporary challenges. It's basically just 2 weeks where you can actually work in teams and work on these projects. Great way to show that you have creative skills, cognitive, design, collaborative creativity. It's free. You can't otherwise access, and it's free. It's every school. We've kind of signed up over 100 odd schools. I think the team has signed up. But these are some opportunities where you can actually go, stay within your academic environment, but also get this. I'm not saying pack your bags and go into rural India, but you can try some of this because you've got other commitments, right? And so the perspectives are changing, that careers no longer remain in silos, they're interconnecting. Don't just prepare for career, prepare for a task. Don't say, I want to be an engineer. What do you want to do as being an engineer? What's the task you want to do? So is engineering the only thing that's going to give you that task? Be prepared for that. Disciplines themselves don't lead to jobs. Discipline skills too. Big companies. Goldman Sachs. Anybody heard of Goldman Sachs? The huge investment firm. When we kind of did hiring students' resumes for Goldman Sachs, they asked for history graduates. They didn't ask for economics graduates or business graduates. They wanted history graduates. And because there is a skill that history gives you, because you can't bluff history. You can't lie, right? There is a certain integrity in history. If you actually see a lot of people who love history or teachers of history are very stickler about narrating things in a structured manner. And that's what the finance industry today needs, right? And then career success is not a vertical ladder. There is lateral growth. All of you techies who think you can kind of just do engineering, get into technology jobs, you can get your first job, but success is not going to be on that. You need to have that social skill. So it's not a choice between humanities, technology, science, or societies, because eventually you're going to have multiple perspectives. I don't mean to say don't have depth. Have a depth in any area, but look for the breadth. When you're looking at universities, see what kind of breadth of experiences they're going to offer. Can you dabble? So it's no longer the world that you're stuck to biology, you have to run in that track. You can pull from different disciplines and there is a career waiting for you. Because why is that career waiting for you? Because the world's problems are interconnected. So now you're getting the chronology of where I'm coming from. And finally, I just want to leave you this. Many of you think, I'm already 18. Already 18. Have you heard this very often? You're already 18, you haven't figured what you want to do with your life. Right? What's the legal voting age in this country? What's the legal voting age? 21. 18 now? They changed it? Or they decided to do that further? What's the legal marriage age? What's the legal driving age? Driving full license? 18. Okay. What is the drinking age? 21. So you can already see all of that, no? They don't allow you to drink until 21. You can get married at 80. I think marriage is also 21. 21. And why do you have to decide a career at 18 when you can do all the other things at 21? Who's forcing you to do that? Change that perspective a little bit. Take your undergraduate not as a jail term that's locking you in. Undergraduate is where you will learn to explore. More than realizing what you want to do, you will realize what you don't want to do in undergraduate. And then life takes on. So remember, 21 is a magical number. 18 is not. So anybody tells you you're already 18, just tell them, I'm only 18. I'm fine. I'm only 18. You don't have to take all the world's problems on your back. That doesn't mean you're careless All I'm trying to say is don't fix yourself so much because this is such a dynamic space. Have multiple perspectives, which is supremely important. Because remember that first slide? That tomorrow when you're stuck in a particular area, it's that story that will bring you out. If you were going to study engineering, but you shared a class with a group of psychology students, that conversation is what will get you success. Because you're going to record something in that conversation with your psychology classmates. That is going to help. That's really where I want you to connect. So go ahead, script your story. Don't just think about checking boxes. All this. Can I have some silence over here, especially from the boys? All right. Give us 2 minutes. We're going to just, Kala wants to know if you have any questions for her. Do you have any questions for her? Are you sure? Well, I wish if, like Kala said, yeah, there is one question. Who's that one? Okay. Would you come out, please? Come on the stage. Stand with Kala, ask your question, get your answer. Okay, so the importance of academics, very important question. Is it important to get marks? Because every university wants to look at that entry criteria. If a university is purely looking at your marks, that is not a university for you. Another way to present your story for a university, that doesn't mean that you don't study, right? Which is also important. What is important is to evidence your effort. Remember, your story is, I was 50% struggling in this area in mathematics in my grade 10. I moved up to 62% in my grade 11. These are some changes I did to my life that today I'm at 66. I cannot get your 70, but you can see that how incrementally my effort has pushed me forward, a little closer. So your story is to evaluate how can I push myself, right? Many universities today have actually dropped. I mean, trust me, around the world, they are dropping this. Even the Purdue's of the world, the Stanfords of the world are saying no SATs. None of this exam-based reports. They want to see who you are as an individual. That statement of purpose. Send us a 1-minute video about yourself. Those are things. And those are ways in which you tell the story. Whether that's English, any subject, you can actually say some of these things and they appreciate it. You can actually say they had a massive family issue, which is what pulled me down in academics in grade 11. Because universities are looking at grade 9, 10, 11, 12, right? And they're kind of, but these are some things to put in the statement, to actually explain. And seek out those kind of universities. Align with universities that speak to your heart, not the marks. Otherwise, they're just factories. You're just another product. And there are many and more universities that are now there. I mean, they are there, honestly speaking. So, but if your aim is saying, I want to crack the IIT, JEE, I go that way in life, that's fine, but that's not meant for everybody. So, marks are important to show the effort, but there is always a boutique of universities who don't really care about marks, who you are and what your interests are, and where you can add value to the global human capital that they are creating. If a university is just interested in giving degrees, that's not the university. You're kind of looking at that experience. That's a big issue about corruption. All sorts of them are there in the world, so we can't really argue with that. That's the reality of the world we have to work with. Anything else, quickly? We done? We done? Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Mrs. Bajwa?
my word of thanks. Okay, I think I'm supposed to deliver the vote of thanks, and I would probably do it from the stage because that's a little mark of respect that I want to give to everybody who's actually helped in bringing all this together. Okay, so give me 2 minutes. I'm going to be there, go through my list of the people whom I want to thank. So keep patient, please, okay? Please do keep patience. Can you all hear me? All right. My name is Radhika. I work with Harper Institute of Engineering and Technology, but that's not the introduction that I want to give here today. I'm Radhika, wife of Colonel Tarun Kalia, daughter of retired Colonel R.K. Sharma, and a granddaughter of Colonel Ori. So, reason why this is the first time I have used this introduction is to actually help resonate with you. Resonate why? We are all in the army. We are one breed. We actually form one nation. It's not to actually do something that we have to do for each other. It's important that we help our own breed, which we know is contributing in no ways lesser than any of the contributions that any of these big companies like Google or maybe international MNCs across the world which I do not know much names of. Army is actually one of the biggest contribution to the nation. It is only because of the security and the safety that the world or our country is actually functioning. It was very imperative to give this introduction in this gathering because I want to resonate with each one of you. I studied in many army schools and even also Kendriya Vidyalayas. What I actually really miss and I really want to contribute by giving to all of you is the lack of awareness. My parents, my grandparents were not aware of what career that there could be for me and my brother. So it is actually an honor for me to stand before you, to be able to actually help you all and be present in this gathering today. For it is I see myself as one of you. Often, we think, because I was at your age, passed out from a Kendriya Vidyalaya, not even an APS, and Kendriya Vidyalaya in a place like Ganganagar, Sadhu Wali Cant, they used to call it. They didn't even have proper school buses to school. And that's not very much far away that I graduated my high school. We often feel, because our parents are not aware that we are the smart cookie and we will decide what career to choose for ourselves. If we are not able to choose that career for ourselves, we simply take 2 minutes to blame our parents that this is the decision or this is something that you wanted me to do and I did it. No, the narrative, the perspectives are changing. Very beautifully brought out from both our speakers today, Ms. Reena Singh from Hyderabad Public School, a career counselor, with an excellent, I would actually say, experience that she's had with some of the finest schools in the country, from Good Shepherd now to Hyderabad Public School. She's closely worked with every student in her schools and known and written their stories and helped them realize the right career. Help them realize the career not because of what she wants them to do, but actually realize what potential the child has. It's not really important that you have to clear your NEET or your JEE to be an excellent student and get a career for yourself. Careers are not for money, like one child very beautifully brought out. Careers are basically what gives you happiness and contributes to the greater good of the society. Careers have a different definition of success that I personally feel. Yes, I truly understand that a JEE, NEET, or an engineering college, or being a doctor, or being one of the highest paid banking, what would you say, a trainee management or a very good leadership position at one of the international MNC is success for you. But does it come with a mix of happiness? Do you see yourself just sitting in office and not doing anything for the family and not living your hobbies? What do you think? It's important to have a mix of family, hobbies, and career, or it is just careers? Any answers, please? No answers. That actually states that none of you have your own definition of success. You're just following the definition of success which your teacher, principal, your friends, your siblings, your parents, and as such, the society has given to you. Please don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Second speaker, Ms. Kala Anand, very beautifully brought out what it takes to actually have a story. You don't have to build a resume, you have to build a life. You saw the kind of mistakes people made, the kind of contributions that people made in the various case studies she brought out. Are you convinced what really matters at the end of the day? She showed us the different matrix of careers and the subjects that are available. We don't even know that history is as important as a biotechnology would be. Political science is as important as mathematics could be. No, we've just stuck it in our head that no, it's a PCB for a NEET, PCM for an engineering. If you don't have it, you've not done well for yourself. Let's learn from Kala that you're only 18 and it's not the end of the world. We all had different careers. I had a different career when I got married, and I didn't work for a good 15 years because I thought it was important to be a part of the army. I learned so much. I've really trained myself very hard for these 2 years to be standing in front of you, to have that courage to actually help 18 till I die youngsters with proper career choices. And it is not because that we all have come here together because we want to tick a box and say that we did a career fair, we had a career orientation for the 3 APS in the twin cities of Hyderabad, Secunderabad. We have actually come to contribute to help our youngsters and their parents to choose a career, to choose the right fit of their university and actually do something. And also contribute. Okay, I'm coming to that one. So, and also contribute as an alumni to the schools. Do you know that APS doesn't have stellar alumni? Our alumni are lying in NDA maximum, and some doctors and some maybe places we don't even know. Think it upon and bring back that responsibility in each one of you to make your schools shine, not only because of an academic excellent score. Boys and girls, contribute to make your school where you have a stellar alumni who's contributing to the society with empathy and excellence in their mind. All right? So don't see that this is a tick in the box. We came for a career fair. We went to the universities. We had 2 excellent speakers. Carry the legacy of what has been given to you today for futures to come, for years to come. Make it bigger, make it better. Not many army schools get that opportunity. For this, I would solely like to thank only one person, Mrs. Gitanjali Mandral, who has passionately actually thought about putting all this together and bringing about the whole structure of this career fair and the career orientation that we are actually going through right now.
An additional thing which I want you people to understand, the difference in happiness and pleasure. Don't associate the things or the materialism or anything that gives you temporary feeling, like even a job or like going to IIT, that you achieved it and reaching there is the end. So always whenever you're having a feeling that you're feeling happy, may not be happiness. There is a difference, like somebody who's into substance abuse. He's enjoying, and when he gets a bottle to drink, he thinks he's happy, but that is intoxication and addiction. So having an iPhone in hand or having a Nokia in hand, pleasure and happiness difference you have to understand to enjoy the career as well as all what life offers you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, let's get back to where I was. Thanking Mrs. Gitanjali Mandral for giving you this platform where you can actually meet university representatives and have speakers of excellence in Mrs. Reena Singh and Ms. Kala Anand. They all have made their time out of their busy schedules just to be with us and contribute to us, not because they want to or they actually have to do it, because they are simply two passionate people. Okay, so live your passion, realize your definition of success. I would actually request you to please do a huge round of applause for Mrs. Gitanjali Mandral, for Ms. Kala Anand, and for Ms. Reena Singh. Thank you. All right. Nonetheless, there's a lot of hard work which is actually not being seen by students. You just got yourselves in the buses and came here. And probably you really enjoyed the back seat of the bus where you could actually sleep and, you know, I mean a lot more other things, but I'm going to be whacked by your principals and teachers if I said that and lived my memories of the army buses rides. So nonetheless, we'll keep it at a private moment. I'll come and see you at your school, or you just drop by home. A lot of hard work has been put in by Colonel Vishal Anand. We actually deserve a huge round of applause for him. From not being well, from putting us all together, making a group, putting us all together so that we could be on one note, one page. And that was simple, to contribute to making this career orientation and the Career Fest Inquisitor 2022 a success. And more than anything else, useful to each of you who are already in their grade 12th. I cannot forget the kind of coordination that has happened in the TASA counseling group. I do not know you by your names, but I can only tell you by the WhatsApp messages that we exchanged. I'm sure that I think they are already here grinning in front of you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen who were part of the TASA counseling WhatsApp group, who put all this together and made this happen. Can we hear a huge round of applause for all of them? Apart from this, I would actually want you to thank your teachers who have actually put you here in the grade 12, your subject teachers, your high school coordinators, who leave nothing unturned and only think of you day and night as to your scores, your answer paper sheets, about your weaknesses and your strengths. Can we hear a huge round of applause for the teachers, please? All right. As a word of thanks, I should not forget each of you who are present, who have shown us that patience. So listen to me carefully and follow my instructions. I would have done that for you on the stage, but I'm wearing a sari, and I also happen to be a colonel's wife, than being an army kid or a grandkid, which is my past. So you tap your feet twice and clap once. Tap your feet twice and clap your hands once. Can we do it together? Wait, stop. Girls and boys, do it together. It has to be in harmony. It has to be synchronized. Tap your feet, and you can only tap one feet. Make it right or left. For the boys, it can be right. For the girls, if it's okay, make it left. Twice. Tap your feet twice and your hands once. 1, 2, 3, start. Can I hear it louder? Boys, louder, sing it please. Girls. All right, we have to stop it now. Thank you so much. That is because, all right, attention please. Attention please. This was one of the teachers that I studied at one of the schools who used to do it with us. I thought I'll leave it with you. And we had to stop the movement because before ACDS, the floorings or the roofs fell off, we would have actually been running out here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my heartfelt gratitude to the Army College of Dental Sciences, ACDS, if I've got it right. Thank you, Colonel Mishra, and all for those who have given us permission to conduct this beautiful career orientation talk. Okay, the takeaways? Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kala, for taking all the pain and actually with medical condition flying into us and being with us. But nonetheless, we are not going to let go of you, irrespective of we are here or not, but the school will remain, the alumni will be created, and the principals and the teachers will be here. Rita ma'am, you're not far away. Please contribute as much as you can to training our counselors, our teachers, and guiding our 9th to 11th or 12th grades with the experience that you have so that we can cash on and build better futures. Colonel Anand, thank you so much for all the help that you've given and for the patience that you've shown to each of us. Thank you, principals and teachers.
Well, as this program comes to an end, I don't think anything has been left to be spoken. Mrs. Radhika has already spoken everything, but still I would like to again thank, because this event of Inquisitor 2022 would not have been possible without the initiative and support of our school patron, General Ranjit Singh Manral and Mrs. Gitanjali Manral. Those students we have been hearing Mrs. Gitanjali Manral's name. I would like to introduce her also because she too carries a great educational support background which is related to the upliftment of the students, which she has been doing throughout her life as she joins us in as a patron's wife to APS schools. Mrs. Gitanjali Manral is an alumnus of Maharani Gayatri Devi Girls Public School, Jaipur. She has dedicated her life towards upliftment of children with special needs, and that is how her expertise in the field has been utilized as a consultant to improve functioning of Asha schools and various Indian Army empowerment campaigns for CWSL. A passionate advocate of empowerment of women, she has utilized the Army-wise welfare associations for this cause. Thank you, Mrs. Manral, for the wonderful opportunity for our students. I request you to please come up on the stage to facilitate our speakers. Mrs. Reena. Mrs. Kala Anand.
Good afternoon. The boys to my left, the last 3 rows. I won't talk too much. I'll just take 5 minutes. Can I have that attention, please? I'm just talking to the boys to my left, actually. Can I have a yes or a no? Yes. Sure? Yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry I missed the first part of the program. I was caught up with a bit of work. At the outset, a very big thank you to both our speakers for taking out the time and coming to us and connecting with us. I didn't get a chance to hear you, Reena, so I'll see the recording that we have with us. I'm sure it was well received and there would be a lot of takebacks. Kala, a very interesting take and perspective. Great learning for me as well. And there's so much I think we take for granted that just comes into perspective when we hear speakers from different fields and genres, hence the entire initiative. You all are very confident, very bright, and very intelligent young people who don't need to be told what is to be done and what is not to be done. Right? अरे हाँ या ना तो बोलो. Right? then why this entire exercise? So I'm just going to take 2 minutes to tell you as to why this exercise was done. It is not that we do not it is not that we do not believe that what you have thought for yourself is correct or not correct. We absolutely understand that you've given it enough thought. By now, you're already in 12th, just 3 months away or 4 months away from your board examinations. So all of that is sorted within yourselves. The entire exercise for the Career Fest is just to give you a little bit of exposure, which you probably would have got had COVID not been there in the world. The last 2 years have restricted us to a place. Schooling rather has not been what it should have been. I'm sure you would have heard many more speakers, traveled a bit, attended many more competitions. But you were a little restricted. So I want you to go on the 19th to the Career Fest with a very open mind and just try and see what is there on offer. It doesn't mean that the choice you've already made for yourself is wrong or right. That's fantastic, whatever you've thought for yourself. But just go with an open mind and try and absorb and listen to what people have to tell you. If there's something that you would have taken from Kala's presentation or session today, I think the biggest take back was not just your qualifications, but how you have assimilated your entire life till now together with your varied experiences. And I know that it sounds a little boring, especially to the boys today, but let me tell you that being army children actually gives you a little bit of an edge, because your psychosocial interactions with varied and various people will give you an edge which you will not realize today, but 10 years from now, some experience, something from some posting where you were with your parents in some part of India will go a long way. It's probably the last time I think I'm addressing the kids of APS. So I would also like to take this opportunity to wish you all the very best, not only for your 12th boards, but for your life ahead, not just from my side, but from General Mandral's side as well. God bless and Godspeed. A big thank you to the entire team. We've had some interesting sessions, and all the best to you. Do take it forward and let's try and make the best of it. And let this be just the very first thing that we have done in continuation to many more to come. Radhika, immense gratitude to put it all together and continue to do the good work. Kanlanan, thank you so much for coordinating everything. The entire staff at ACDS, thank you. And on behalf of Telangana and Andhra Saberia, I'd like to officially thank both the speakers for taking out the time and coming to be with us. Thank you and good afternoon.
With this, our program comes to a final conclusion. I'll request the students to quietly move outside. Thank you so much, everyone.